Hello once again, friends, and well met. In this next sequence, there is a soft introduction to a new antagonist. Up till now, the story has mentioned several times our main antagonist, who we've not yet met, the Pyrarch Obsidious. Pyrarch being a title for a self-declared tyrannical empress. Obsidious, first known as Vymeria, was banished by her brethren, the High Hosts, in the year IA 111. Banished, that is, into her own creation, the Voracle, for stealing the etherical keys. From there she emerged on Earth sometime around 1180 BC, or perhaps a bit earlier. Hyraxius, the head of the Arsentian order, railed against the others for Vymeria's banishment and dispatched another of the hosts, Exiyl, to bring her back. In Earth's Mesopotamia region, Exiyl found Vymeria. They cast their charms over one another and fell madly in love. They soon bore a son, Exiyl, born in the year 966 BC on the ancient island of Tyrrhenia, later to be known as Ponza, Italy, where Vymeria had dwelt for the last several centuries, once possibly in the guise of the Greek witch Circe. Many centuries later, now in the new world of the West, it is Exiyl, the Pyrarch's son, who was charged with the imprisonment of the exiles after they were forced through the Voracle. After many failed attempts, they plotted and executed their escape some 6 months later and were rescued by Professor Mifflin. He kept the 6 of them hidden for 10 long years, but as Sequent 5 hinted, that protection now looks to be coming to an abrupt end. Let us find out a bit more about Exiyl and those he came to enslave, related by yet another new character in Sequent 6. At the conclusion of Sequent 5, Mifflin asked the exiles to wait and hope the past does not come full circle. But to the past we will now go, briefly moving backwards in time to the Pompeii, Italy of Earth in August 79 AD. To witness the mighty Mount Vesuvius violently erupt with broad sheets of flame and ash, molten pyroclastic rock, followed by the suffocating death screams of millions. But a voice from the present is heard speaking over this, a female voice speaking on this moment as if recalling history. No, she continues, the cycle of legends here beg to differ. Pompeii was not quite destroyed the way history records it. Now, on the very slopes of Vesuvius, stands an imposing demonic figure, 50 feet high, arms and hands stretched out, summoning some great internal potency and power. In the next instant, he's swallowed up in volcanic matter. In a spacious university lecture hall packed with students, Dr. Celica Canzero, late 20s, moves up the center aisle with a large book, undaunted by its weight. She wears a neck scarf. Her eccentric eye twinkle and hippyish beauty belie a driven pursuit of academia. She reads on. No, she exclaims again. It was instead his innate diabolical powers, his fury, mercilessly unleashed upon Mount Vesuvius. There, in his self-made volcanic tomb, the demonic creature Exiyl slept and waited. As she passes, students gawk at her skirt-covered legs and open sandals, to anklets of charms etched with runes and daggers along with several toe rings. One such student tosses something over Celica's shoulder, landing on her book. It's a charm, shaped like a sword, on a cheap necklace. Taped alongside it is a rolled joint. Celica studies it, then nods in approval, dropping both into her blouse's cleavage. The class reacts with snickers, then mixed applause. Celica continues walking and reading. Just as on the Pompeii volcanic plain back in the same far-off past, Two cloaked figures, crooked with deformed flesh and limbs, now watch in amazement as the igneous stone shatters, crumbling. Exiyl rises, his face now cast in cracked volcanic rock, his jagged skull appearing like some ancient crown of antiquity. Celica's voice perks up. Centuries later, she continues, when Exiyl at last reawakened, he fatefully crossed paths with his two future slaves, a fallen, plague-ridden priest and an asylum fugitive, both barely surviving through crudely cast black charms. Through the windows of the lecture hall, as the sun shines bright, Celica returns to her lectern, placing the heavy volume down next to several more books. On top of her is a planner marked with notes. The date is clear, September 1976. She faces her students. Exiyl worked powerful spells, she reads on, returning the two near-slave corpses young and strong. They pledged timeless allegiance and became his loyal helots, Score and Gorless. A furious voice suddenly rings out in the hall. Lies! What do you know of the Lord Exiy's majesty and valor? Near the front a student stands. From a slung shoulder bag he produces an epee sword and advances on Celica. From under her lectern, Celica draws a foil blade, waving the student on. They clash, parrying, thrusting. Celica ends it quick with a slash, then an elbow to the student's face, downing him, thrusting at his throat. Her students gape in amazed silence. Celica pulls up her adversary. She hugs him and introduces her stage combat partner, Mickey. The class applauds. She's weird but cool, and they love it. Celica turns, shuts her huge book with a creak and a thump. She admits that this will be a taste of her class to come this semester. Once again, she welcomes them all. Might there be any questions? Hands go up immediately. Celica picks the first. She's asked, "What happened to Exiyl?" Celica nods, then grabs one of the other books. She thumbs through it, finds a page, and reads. Legend claims, she follows up, he and his helots at last came to the New World. And if you care to give that credence, it's told in the centuries since they arrived here, the center of civilization, New York City. More hands. Celica glances up, picks another. The campus word is, the smirking student teases, you really believe all this stuff, do you? Celica smiles. She looks down and returns to thumbing the book. Word, whose word, she asks. Next question. A third student simply shouts out, they say you believe you're a reincarnation of a Pompeii man who took his life that day at Vesuvius. Celica bites her cheek. She doesn't look up, but it appears her face hardens a moment. She turns more pages. Next question, she repeats again. The class reacts. Some clumsily chuckle, others may be slightly freaked out. They say, claims a voice from the back, you're a lunatic. Celica cuts this right off with, next. Celica enjoys this tongue-in-cheek, till, that is, she finds something. A wrinkled and torn page. From a particular paragraph, she picks up a batch of coiled hair strands. A student close to the front asks in a genuinely concerned register, Doctor, have there been any clues or updates on the sad news of your missing sister? Celica inspects the page tear closer. Torn through a particular word. She gathers her things, hurries out of the hall. Dismissed until next week, she says. It's always been a pleasure to thank you once again for spending this brief time with me to continue this story cycle. Please do join me again as we'll read on the adventures and journeys of the Exiles in Sequent 7. Until then, goodwill to you, one and all.